Hey nerds, this is Wally, this is Jonathan, this is Stranger Danger, and over the next couple episodes we're going to try Day Boil Session IPA. That'll be session 1. We're going to do Earl Grey Wheat,
cold.
We're going to do Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout. We're going to talk about what we think. We're going to talk about his blog, Lesbian Love, and we're going to enjoy some beer. And Hey nerds, it's Wally here, and we are here for episode 1 of Stranger Danger, and I'm here with Jonathan.
Of Lesbian Love fame.
Yeah, hey, you plugged yourself. Good. How's your plug it? So what this show is about me getting new people in the show who aren't, I won't say at the level, who don't have the experience in craft beer I do. They'll have some, they'll have none. Maybe they have way more than I do, and I don't know it, and that's awesome. Or maybe I know they have way more than I do. Anyways, it's going to be Stranger's Channel, trying beers they've picked out. Today we have a selection of 3, because he went hog wild. We have Quiddy Viddy Day Boil. We have, from Collective Arts, and you know I like my Collective Arts, we have Earl Grey Wheat. I don't think it has a fancy name, which is kind of weird for them. Normally they have like Life in the Clouds and Haze Days.
Yeah.
And then from Russell Brewing, the Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout. So we're going to go kind of from lighter to darker. So we'll start with Session Ale first.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's 4.5 from St. John's, Newfoundland. I like reading the labels always. You must have the deepest commitment, the most serious mind, but above all, the right beer. Day Boil is a crushable session IPA for those time when the fog lifts and the washers come out. This tropical citrus explosion has you back when the clock strikes noon, or in Newfoundland, 12:30.
Ding.
So yeah, it comes at 4.5% in a 473 milliliter can. Do you know what session means?
Yeah, I think I do. Session means something you can drink over a longer period of time because it has a lower alcohol content.
Yeah, you can have several in a session of beer. Yeah.
Which is nice.
Okay, so we're going to try this first. I brought fancy plastic glasses, mostly because I didn't have enough of my clean little ones here. Also, I think this will be least affected by taste of plastic. The wheat beer with lots of ingredients and definitely a bourbon barrel aged stout. I'm worried it might just melt the plastic. Okay, so I'm going to pour this for you. While I'm pouring this first beer, because we don't get through a whole bunch more, why don't you tell me all about Lesbian Love? Or actually tell the viewers all about Lesbian Love.
Oh, shit. Okay, so Lesbian Love is a blog about Lethbridge. Basically, at one point in time in my life, I was really down about this city, which is more for newlyweds or nearly deads. And I started a blog in about 2009, just looking to find things that I really like about Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada, which is surprisingly harder than you think. So I've been a regular blogger on that blog, but I've been doing it for a long time, and now I've introduced my wife, Melissa, into the blog. And so we blog about just about anything that is related to Lethbridge or may interest us, or things that are happening, or things we've done in Lethbridge, such as this podcast. Yeah.
So it's generally positive. Like you try and
generally,
shine positive light.
Yeah.
So we're in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. So southern Alberta, off the foot, like right in the, just off the foot.
Just if you're from America, think of it north of 2 hours north of Montana, 2 hours south of Calgary, Alberta. Yeah. 2 hours east of the Rocky Mountains. Just 2 hours from everything except for maybe Saskatchewan. Yeah. And who cares about Saskatchewan?
Really?
No. Unless there's a really good brewery there.
We'll talk about that sometime. There's a few. There's not a ton, but their industry's starting to grow a little bit.
Nice.
Okay, so usually when I do a beer review, well, you've seen them. We were talking about these earlier. We look at the beer. So this is like nice, golden, hazy, really white head. A finger and a half. Depends how big your finger is. We'll say 1.5 finger white head, or 1 knuckle deep.
2 fingers.
So it is pretty hazy. You can't really, I don't have the right light in here to see how carbonated it is, but it's pretty hazy. Okay, yeah, and then you got right to it. So smells always.
Smell.
So, what do you smell?
Oh, my goodness. Well, it smells hoppy to begin with. Yeah. Definitely has a... My nose is a little bit stuffed up, so you have to forgive me.
It's very
it has a fruity aroma, for sure.
So like tropical.
Yeah, very inviting in terms of like a smell, for sure. And it makes me want to just
Yeah, so you get a lot of like tropical. So you get like guava. Yeah. So if you smell.
Yeah, I'm smelling. The only tropical smell that I know of right now is dried mango, and I'm getting that from it.
So definitely mango.
Sure.
So keep in mind that these aren't the real. There's no fruit. There's probably no mango, passion fruit, pineapple,
guava,
any of that in there. That's just the types of hops they use.
Right.
Sometimes the can says it, so this is probably gonna be like maybe like Mosaic or Centennial or probably not Centennial. There's not maybe Amarillo or something like that. So there's certain hops that have like a kind of a New England profile, which is going to be super, super tropical and dank sometimes. And then you'll have your West Coast profile, which is usually pine, and then the tropicals underneath it. Right? So
I would say this is very dank smelling in a good way.
So sometimes dank can taste weird. So I've heard it several options. And I talked about this on the Haze Days. I think that was the last Collective Arts one I did. Sometimes dank is a smell you get when you open a can of tennis balls.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't play tennis, love.
Or it could be the sound of leather, the smell of leather.
Ooh, yeah,
right?
like
that kind
Ralph
of
Lauren polo kind of
hide,
that kind of feeling of like
or
richness.
Sometimes the dank, you can also get like really herbaceous vegetal dank that's like forest floor kind of dank, almost like rotting leaf dank. And dank, when you describe dank, it always sounds horrible, but it always smells good. Like
I always think of dank memes,
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we'll just throw a dank meme in right here.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so we're gonna try it now, and I think it's gonna taste like it smells, honestly. So there is some bitter. And it's a little like, you get kind of like almost a little, it's very sessionable. Like there's no booze to it at all.
It is a lot lighter.
I don't want to say a little more water. It's not a ton of mouthfeel.
Yeah. You can definitely feel that there's less alcohol than a regular beer for sure. But it does leave a nice bitter aftertaste.
Yeah. So you'll find in sessionable ones, I find anyways, that there's more water, because the more water is less alcohol percentages, right? So it tastes watery.
Okay.
Where some there's a method of upping the alcohol in the hop. So really, really hoppy, high booze beer, they actually take some of the water out through freezing.
Okay.
Right?
I did not know
that.
that.
So that makes your beer more dense. So it also like changes the mouthfeel because there's less water.
Yeah.
In the beer, right?
And definitely this summer, it has been a hot one for sure. Yeah. Like I've enjoyed more session IPAs than I have just regular, 7-8% IPAs, just because I want to drink more during the summer season, of course, than just get smashed off of one can.
Weeks and weeks of 28 to 35 here,
right?
Like 2 or 3 weeks of it.
Yeah.
So dry. So
thank goodness for AC.
So we picked this off the shelf. I guess I kind of picked it because I've never heard of Quidi Vidi from St. John's, Newfoundland. So sometimes you almost wonder if the beer didn't freeze a little bit because that almost like affects the wateriness, the mouthfeel.
Okay.
But probably not. I'm sure it's good.
I've never considered beer being frozen before. Is that like a packaging thing or is that a transport thing?
If you send beer, the one reason you don't see a lot of beer overseas, like from one continent to another, is because of freezing.
Okay.
It wrecks the beer a little bit.
So in cases like that where it's a specific beer from overseas, they might have a brewery kind of in North America to create the same kind of brew.
Yeah, so if they really want to have presence here,
right,
they'll just contract brew through like Steam Whistle or a big brewery like that.
I'm just thinking like Budvar versus Czechvar.
Yeah,
Czech Budweiser.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like, I can't think of an English beer off the top of my head, but what they'll do is they'll probably just send limited amounts, or they just don't send them. Mm-hmm. Right? There's lots of breweries that do that. Lots of breweries just only brew local too, right? Okay. Same reason you go over to Europe, you're not going to find Canadian beer really. You might find Molson, but they're probably contract brewing.
Yeah,
like maybe if it were Budweiser, they just contract brew. They're like all the same, or they just change the label from like Tusker to Budweiser.
So correct me if I'm wrong. It's preferable to drink local beer because it has not been frozen.
Yes.
Or are there times you want to drink a frozen beer?
Also, it's fresher. You have to
Fresh.
think, if it came from
most
England,
definitely.
it's 6 months old maybe, or 3 months, 6 months old.
Isn't that
By
the whole
time we get
idea
it.
of IPAs, though, for like transport and like
No, so
duration of
if-
transport?
So the good thing, you want an IPA, the fresher the better,
Okay.
because it just doesn't sit as well on a shelf. So that's why when you see IPAs here, you see like big companies who can ship a lot. So you see like you see Collective Arts, but you don't see a lot of Great Lakes Brewing necessarily, right? Because Collective Arts just has the capacity to send more here, right? Mm-hmm. So they'll send up to St. Albert, wherever the big holding house is, right? And then everybody orders from there.
Okay.
But I mean, there's lots more to it, but why you don't see like little breweries sending IPAs, because it'll take longer to sell and won't be as good, or they can only send so much, right? Where Collective Arts, everybody knows it, so they're like market penetration, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, for a beer that comes halfway across Canada, this one is remarkably fresh and very drinkable during a hot summer day. I do quite like it.
I'm very, very impressed
Yes,
with it.
it's nice.
It's not cleanly sweet. It's balanced. It's bitter and fruity and cool and refreshing and really, really, really crushable. You
Definitely
can
suits
smash
my
this.
palate. Yeah.
I'd already go
Crushable.
for this.
That's a good word.